Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So we have Brent here today. We have the Lawn Ranger project truck. So this is his truck that he bought new in what, 97?
Late 96.
Okay, so, but it is a 96.
Yes.
So he bought this truck brand new. It's gone through some hiccups over the life of the truck. He used it for work. He towed his campers with it. He towed his lawn mowing trailers with it. He used it for work. He used it for business. He used this truck for everything. This was his daily driver, his work truck, his going out truck, everything. Now, when he bought this truck, he hated the color, and now he's kind of grown to love it. And basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk to Brent about this truck a little bit here, because this is gonna be the final video for this truck here. Now, we are missing a couple of little odds and ends, and we don't have those pieces because of the fabrication shops were behind, or they've manufactured the parts incorrectly. So we don't have a couple pieces, and I'm not gonna point those out. But we do, this truck is probably 99.9% done on the completion scale. And it has been basically a nut and bolt restoration with everything being touched. So basically we're gonna go ahead and ask Brent a couple questions about the truck and basically kind of go over the history of this truck a little bit with you. And I know this isn't going to be a super informative video about what we've done and what we're doing. However, we're gonna go ahead and just kind of like go over this truck and kind of tell you what all's been done if anybody missed any videos about it. So Brent, you bought this truck new, right?
Yes.
So you've owned this truck for the entirety of its life.
Except for I'm the only one that ever titled it. It was a truck that was, the dealer specifically ordered it in for himself for the dealership, because at the time he also sold horse trailers.
Okay.
He would take it out on the weekends and go to equestrian events and pull a horse trailer with it to try to drum up equestrian business to come to his dealership, buy a truck, buy a trailer all together.
Now that's just a bumper pull basically, right?
Yes.
It never had a gooseneck or a fifth wheel in it?
No.
Okay. So he did that, and then he ended up, did you coerce him into selling it?
No, I happened to be driving past one day and saw it sitting on the lot. Stopped and looked at it, drove it home, long test drive, and we decided he had it marked down to the point where I wanted a diesel, but I couldn't afford a diesel, and I wanted a crew cab, and he had it marked down to the price of a extended cab.
Okay.
Which, I mean, still isn't great, but for me at the time it was like, well, I can get what I want for less money.
But how much was that back in 96? About. You don't have to be down to the dollar amount.
It was probably $5-6 grand.
Which is pretty good. So you paid around 30 something for this truck. That's crazy now, because new trucks of this caliber would be...
That was after paying off the loan.
Okay.
He had it marked down to 28.
Wow. Boy, don't we wish we lived in those days still? So you got a good deal on this truck, and it served you well for the past
30 years. Well, 20. 20 of driving it, because it's been 10 years since it's been down.
Yeah, which is crazy, because we're knocking on the door of 10 years to the day, right? So that's pretty crazy. This truck's been wrecked for 10 years. Now, that was the big major disaster event. Now, you wrecked this truck. I was gonna say, you wrecked this truck before too, right? But now the second time that totaled it for 10 years, that wasn't your fault.
Right.
But the first one was kind of a problem.
The first one was young and dumb. I was in a hurry and I wasn't paying close enough attention, and it was kind of a bump, stop, and go.
Oh, okay.
At a stop sign, and my wife was in the passenger seat. She was leaning forward to get something out of the glove box.
Mm-hmm.
And when I looked, there was nothing coming. And I think it was behind her head.
You can't put that on camera now.
And I think what it was we were in a hurry. I went up to the stop sign, go.
Yeah.
I looked, stopped, go. And just that fast, the car was right in front of me and I T-boned him.
Yeah,
And
so,
that was for like 4 months after I bought the truck.
so 4 months after you bought this thing, you basically wiped the front end of the truck off.
All the sheet metal on the front of the truck was replaced.
Okay. So then you had a pretty long run there, and then finally the rust took hold of it, and you had the truck redone once. Just
When it was 10 years old.
so you had new fenders, but they were aftermarket fenders. New aftermarket fenders put in. You had some cab repairs done, and some odds and ends. Didn't you replace the bed?
I don't even think I had cab repairs done. We did replace the bed because that was where the majority of the rot was.
It's a Ford.
We were getting, rot down here,
Right, the normal places.
and I actually the original Ford fenders, but the second set of fenders for the truck,
Yeah.
those are still on an old plow truck that I have.
Really? That's crazy. Yeah, because the fenders that we took off of this when you brought it out were aftermarket. Those are actually still sitting here. So we might have to go dig those out of the woods. So,
But the bed was replaced at that point,
okay.
and the whole truck repainted.
So how many sets of fenders has this truck had now? So that's the original set, the 4-month-old set, a replacement set, and now this is the 4th set. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. So 4 sets of fenders on this truck. The original doors, so to speak. We did some major work to this truck, and it's a lot of this stuff that we went and put on the truck was things it needed. Things that wore out, things that just were old over time. But
a fair amount of, we've gone this far, we might as well upgrade this.
yes, and a lot of forced upgrades, a lot of things that went awry in the process.
1 step forward, 3 steps back, the whole project.
Right, and none of it because of, some of it was, hey, we're trying to be resourceful, or you got given wrong information, or you trusted somebody that didn't fully know what they were getting themselves into. So that's so how long was the truck at your place wrecked before it came here?
Before it came here,
it would have been what, 7 years?
Yes, but it wasn't at my house the whole time because it was at a different body shop first.
Okay.
So it was at my house after the accident, it was at my house for probably a year to a year and a half. Went to the first body shop. He worked on it for I don't know how long. Just kind of slow. I wasn't in a big hurry. I wanted stuff done right. But at that point, we were just fixing it to get it back on the road, to put it back into work service.
Mm-hmm. Right.
He had, as of 6 years ago, this past December, he had the cab and the fenders and the doors and stuff all at his place, but the frame was at my place.
Mm-hmm.
I was putting the frame all back together because I had completely blown it apart, had everything sandblasted, painted. I was putting it back together when I had time, and then we had the shop fire.
Right. So you lost a lot of stuff in this fire, and I know that you went through a couple different things there. So you had this thing as a rolling chassis, basically. It was a frame, set of axles. The frame was put together.
The only thing that it would have been a rolling chassis if the front axle was underneath it. The front
Okay.
axle was sitting in front of it, waiting for me to put it underneath. The springs were on it, everything. All I needed to do was put it under the frame and bolt it up, and it would have been a rolling chassis.
Right. And then you had the fire. So you lost another truck in that fire also.
Yes.
So that truck was a total loss.
That was the Super Duty that I bought when I wrecked this one. When we went to Texas to get parts for this, I bought that truck in Texas and brought it home because I needed a truck.
Something, yeah.
I needed a truck. Yes, and I lost that one in the fire too.
Yeah, so you technically lost 2 trucks in this fire, but thankfully, what wasn't in that fire was the engine, the body parts. You know, it was
The interior.
Yeah, the interior. Now you did lose your bumper wings for the back bumper. You lost a set of wheels, and a whole bunch of odds and ends, plastic pieces, little stuff that was hard to come by. Your fuel lines were in the fire. You know, stuff that's not easily obtained sometimes, but a lot of custom stuff, a lot of one-off stuff that you can't buy anymore. Flares, were the flares in there too?
Um,
Or were they elsewhere?
No, I don't think the flares were in there.
Well, so it didn't matter because, as you can see, we didn't use them. So we have a different look to the truck. So you went through that fire, and then you ended up having everything re-sandblasted and repainted again.
Completely blew it apart again.
Right, and redid
before
all
that, and then then had to put it back together.
Okay, so then now that we've gotten to that point, now we have a rolling chassis again, and then your body guy, the first one, retired, correct?
A forced retirement.
Right.
He got sick, and the doctor told him, he said, you have to quit. So at that point, it's like, well, crap. Now I gotta find another shop.
Yeah. So the only thing that was done at this point was nothing had been done to the bed, correct? The bed was
No,
but the bed,
because this is actually a different bed than what I originally bought for it to start with.
yeah. So this is bed number 2.
On this part of the project, this is bed number 4 technically that I've bought for, if you count the original bed, the
replacement bed,
that I lost in this wreck. Then I bought a bed for this project, and then decided that I didn't want to use it because someone had done a crappy job of a bed liner in it, and I didn't want to deal with the trying to remove it.
Yep.
So then I went and found this bed and bought this bed.
Okay. So this bed was not even in the picture at that point, but you had the doors and cab had all been body worked. They were straightened out
and
primered. So then you had to find a new body guy. So then you found the new body guy. And basically this body guy did what you see here today with, you know, it took him a couple tries, and we're not going to get into that. But
you can go back in the video series and you can find out about what all happened there if you want to see that.
Yeah, it was the paint work on this truck was a royal disaster from start to finish. But the end product here, and we're not done talking about paint yet, but the end product here is beautiful. And I don't know how well that the camera actually picks it up, but the gloss on this truck currently is wonderful and it looks great. But we'll get to that here in a little bit. So you have a new body guy now, and we get the truck painted, and you know, we're trying to fast forward this a little bit here, and you bring everything out to me because you can't find anybody to finish it.
Well, but part of that is because of the body guy, because the body guy that did the body work on this,
the first one.
No, the
second one.
The second one.
Okay.
The first one sent me to this guy because I didn't know who to go to.
Right. It's hard to find a good body guy.
But this guy no longer, he's far enough into his career that he no longer wants to do total projects. He's like, I do paint and body. I don't build cars.
Right.
So I found a body guy that would do the paint and the body work, but I needed to find a shop or somebody. I wasn't sure if I was going to go with him because I needed somebody that
Could
would
assemble it.
do the project.
Right.
And that's when you stepped up.
Yeah. So I had told Brent, I was like, look, if you can't find anybody to do this truck for you, call me. We'll figure it out. So Brent's like, I can't find anybody to do my truck. So you called me and I said, you asked me, hey, would you put my truck together? And I said, yeah, we can do that. You know,
Because you finally had a shop.
this is true. We finally built the garage. So I finally had a place to do it. And it's like, okay. So Brent basically loads the frame with an engine and transmission in it that his wife and him put in the day
The
before.
night before.
Yeah. So him and his wife put the engine and transmission and transfer case in the frame. He pushed it in the trailer and brought it out. So at that point, that's where the video series starts on this truck. So there's a lot of history before we get to the point where you guys start to see this truck. Got a little bit windy here, so we had to go get the wind breakers here for the microphones. But we had started to talk about you bringing the truck out here. So you had brought the truck out, and we started working on it. We found a couple little odds and end things that were wrong or assembled wrong, and it was basically just somebody didn't know, and there were minor things to fix, minor corrections to make, nothing even worth talking about. However, whenever we started to get into the nitty gritty of, hey, we're going to start assembling this truck, and we started getting into the motor. Now, you had a guy go through the motor for you. Now, I'm not talking about like you did a full rebuild. You basically went in and just resealed everything. Didn't pull the heads off, didn't take any of the rotating assembly apart, but we did a new oil pan, not a new timing cover at first, but the timing cover came off, resealed that, new O-rings in the heads. You didn't even send the injectors out to be rebuilt. You didn't even take them out, I don't think, did you?
No.
So you basically just had
It was basically a reseal job.
Yes.
With a new pan.
Right. So that guy that did that for you, he did a good job on it. But whenever I talked you into the high pressure oil reservoir spacer, so we had talked about that, and I'm like, look, it's worth it to do the spacer because you get the screen. Now, there's a video talking about this specific subject on Brent's truck, and we talked about that, and that was a setback for us. Because at that point, we had the engine in, we had the transmission in, the drive line was all in, drive shaft transfer case, the wiring was in the frame. We were getting to the point where, hey, we're ready to put a body on this truck. And I pulled the high pressure reservoir off and found that the timing cover was broke. So whoever put his engine together, they used the high pressure oil reservoir gasket with the screen in it, broke the timing cover. So that was a hurtful call for me to make to Brent because this truck is a 96, and I know we have a timing cover video, but we didn't need to change everything to Super Duty style on this truck at the time. But we ended up getting a new 96 cover. So we had to replace the timing cover, which if anybody's worked on these 7.3s, they know that to pull the timing cover, you got to pull the engine. So we ended up having to take the transmission off, the transfer case, take all that back apart, yank the engine out of the frame again, and then pull the oil pan off to get to the timing cover. So we had to replace the timing cover, which sucked because that was what, a $500 oopsie by somebody else. It wasn't me, it wasn't you, it was somebody that you paid to do that. And whenever we got it flipped around there, I found out that he had put the oil pan dipstick adapter in for the OBS position, but you are using a Super Duty dipstick. So he had finagled and messed up the dipstick trying to make it fit instead of angling the dipstick tube to the proper orientation. So we ran into that. But that was pretty much the only hiccups we had with the engine, right? We didn't have any other problems. So we got that all squared away, get it all back together. Okay, hey, we're back on track now. What, 2 weeks later? because we had to wait for parts and get time to do it and everything like that.
2 or 3 probably.
So we got all that put back together, got it set back in. So now it's like, okay, well, let's set the cab down on. We got our body mounts put in, got the cab set on, got the, did we have the fender? We had the fenders on too, didn't we? I think we had the fenders.
I think so.
Yeah, so we basically had all the sheet metal on in the front. I don't think we had the hood yet.
No.
And then we put the bed on. And the gap back here at the back of the cab, between the cab and the bed, was about, what, a ½ inch on one side and about 2 inches on the other side. Like, what is going on here? And it didn't matter what we did, it wouldn't straighten out.
We finagled and finagled and finagled, and there wasn't enough finagling to get it right.
Yeah, it didn't matter what we did, it was wrong. And if you look down the side of the truck, it had a bow one way and a bow that matched on the other side. So then I borrowed a tram gauge from a buddy of mine who has a frame shop, and we come up here. It was what, out 3/4 of an inch, an inch.
Yeah, I don't remember, something like that. But it was
A lot.
It was my. I still say it was my fault because I should have taken the frame to a frame shop before I even started working on it to make sure that it was straight.
Because when you bought that frame,
because the first frame that I bought that I found out had rod on it, I took it to a frame shop
and had it checked.
And they had to straighten the
front horns.
So I had that one straightened before I started blowing it apart. And when I started blowing it apart, I found holes in the frame underneath the rear spring brackets.
Yes, I
and
remember
that was when I decided to get it was like, do I fix this frame or do I just get a different frame? And
right.
Somebody found a frame for me somewhere. I had kind of
threw a feeler
grumbled on Facebook about it, and somebody was like, hey, I found you one, and I went and got that. And at that point, I'm like, oh, it'll be fine, because I was in a hurry and I didn't want to spend the money. And it came back and it bit me.
Now, how many times did that philosophy bite you on this project?
I don't know.
A lot.
You'd probably remember better than me.
I don't want to remember. So yeah, we found out that the new frame was bent. So it's like, okay, I talked to the frame guy and he's like, honestly, if it's out that much, you bring me a bare frame and we can get it. Now, a minute ago, I had just told you, we had the cab on, the bed was on, the engine, transmission, the driveline, it's all in. It all had to come back out.
And we did that in one weekend.
Yes,
we put
did.
It all together on Saturday, and we tore it all back apart on Sunday before I went home.
Yeah, we did. We had all hands on deck, get that thing apart. So body back off, back on the carts, bed back off, back on the cart, engine, transmission back out, down on a stand, and basically ripped it all the way down to it was a frame rails and axles, so rolling chassis again. Sent it out to my frame shop. They had, when I talked to him after, they said it was bowed up and down and around. So like they call it bananaed. So it had a little bit of everything. And when he bought the truck, it was a rollover.
I believe so.
So when he bought that frame, it was a rollover. But what they neglected to point out was the fact that it was hit really hard in the front end on a prior accident. So the frame horn in the front was actually bent also. So yeah, the frame was a disaster. So it's like, that's frame number 3. So we got the frame back, and
it took everything his machine. I mean, you had told me that his is like a 10,000 pound machine?
10 ton?
Or 10 ton, and it took 9.5 tons of force to straighten it.
Yeah, and then they said they had a chain let go, and he said it about jumped off the frame table. So yeah, that was eventful. So back to, hey, 1 step forward, 3 steps back. And it's like, okay, so now, hey, let's fast forward again. Frame's back, everything's back together, and we get it all put together, and we start messing with the bed and the tailgate. You remember that debacle?
Yes.
So we had everything put together, as far as the body goes here, and we went to put the tailgate on, and the tailgate didn't fit. I said, hey, Brent, did you guys fit the tailgate? And he's like, yeah, it fit. And I'm like, did you look at both sides? He's like, I said it was a little tight on this side, and your painter said that it was lots of adjustment. Well,
that body shop guy said, well, there's lots of adjustment in here. You just gotta finagle it and work with it and to get everything to line up right.
right.
And that wasn't how it ended up working out.
No. So, there's videos and information and stuff all over YouTube. You got when you're a kid, they give you the shapes and you put it down in the lid of the bucket and they spit through. The square goes in the square, the triangle goes in the triangle, the round goes in the round, but they all fit in the square hole, Okay, but the square hole doesn't fit in the round hole, and the square block doesn't fit in the triangle. Well, we have a rectangle tailgate that had I don't know the angle, but it was, instead of it being like this, it was like this. So the tailgate didn't fit in this hole because the tailgate was bigger than the hole. We ended up taking my 10-ton porta power and actually having to spread the bed sides to make the tailgate fit. That was a good day.
But part of that, I assume, is because we figured out that someone a prior owner of this bed had a bedside put on it. And
Yes.
Whoever put the bedside on it, I won't say they did a terrible job of putting the bedside on, but they didn't do the best quality job of putting it on properly, exactly where it should have been.
Yeah. Yeah, that was, once again, a bad body man. Not your body man.
But this is problems that y'all are going to have to deal with if you're buying used parts. Because part of the problem is you've got a choice. You can either buy junk new parts, aftermarket parts that don't fit for crap, or you can buy
OEM stuff that doesn't fit for crap either.
OEM used parts that doesn't necessarily fit right either. So,
right.
But a lot of times you're better off going with the used OEM parts.
In the long run, they fit better. You might have to body work them, you might have to finesse some stuff, but it's gonna fit better. And even my body guy that I deal with, we have the farm use project there. He's like, I'm used to Super Duties. You can buy pieces and parts and everything new still. And he goes, he's like, the stuff for these trucks is just, it's not out there. So it's like, you get to the point, it's like, well, the best thing you can get is, this door with a dent in it, and that door that's got a twist in it, and this bedside that's got a big cave in it. So you have to work with that. So that's where it's like, you start doing I'm not going to go with world class, but you start doing a really nice body job on one of these trucks, and your 30 grand is like a drop in the bucket. If you want like top tier panel, straight, no stamping marks, you're like $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 in just body work.
I didn't pay that.
No.
But back to fixing the bed, it was enough out that we used your laser level, and we actually had to push it out an inch further than straight in order to get it come back straight.
Yeah, you have to go further to let it relax back in. So after we did that, the tailgate fit. And then we had to finesse it up and down a little bit with all that adjustment that wasn't there. And so that was another debacle. So we got that squared away. And I talked you into a Cervini's hood. That was another debacle. So Cervini's, they make really nice hoods. They look great on these trucks. I love them. Brent likes it. And
they make nice hoods that take a lot of body work.
Yeah.
to make them fit right,
Yeah.
because they're fiberglass, and fiberglass doesn't fit.
Well, it's not that the fiberglass doesn't fit. I think that the molds are just so old.
That's right,
Yeah.
because you said originally when you started buying them,
Yeah, 15 years ago.
they fit.
Yeah, they fit really well.
And now the ones that guys are buying,
They all have the same problems.
They all have the same problems that you got to do the body work.
Yeah. So if you buy a Cervini's hood, yeah, it's a quality hood, but you're going to have to body work it. You can't just slap it on the truck and go. So we ran into that problem. We had to body work the bottom of the hood to get the seams to look nice. We had to body work the back of the hood. And you had some money tied up in that hood, but it looks great now. Buddy of mine, John, stepped up and did the bottom of the hood for Brent for you to get the bottom of the hood looking on point to match the rest of the truck. Because the painter didn't really want to deal with the bottom of the hood. So John, kudos to you for stepping up for that and taking care of Brent with that. And then he also helped us paint the back of the bumper, that you had an afterthought of painting the inside of the bumper black after it was green. And then also you wanted to shorten the bumper. We had to shorten the bumper.
Well,
that was fun.
Shorten. I wanted it tucked back into the truck more. So that was a whole nother weekend issue of...
It was more than one weekend.
I guess it was 2 weekends.
Yeah, cut, fit, weld, weld,
right.
grind, weld. And then, and then repaint it.
And then repaint the bumper because of that.
It was already painted. Because somebody neglected to tell me that they moved the bumper brackets on the old frame. Oh, yeah, it was. So that was another setback, but we worked through it. The bumper ended up turning out pretty nice, and I think that we did it properly. So we ran into that, and so that was a while ago now. And then what else did we run into? The steps. So we had to put the steps on. So this was something you saw online, right? Or did you come up with this design?
I saw a version of it online. This was back before there's places that you can go and buy amp step brackets.
Yes.
Now for these trucks.
Yes.
When I put the steps on the truck, nobody made them. If you were going to put amp steps on the truck, you had to fabricate your own setup.
Yes.
And I saw a guy that did his own set online, and I won't say I did it exactly the way he did it, but I took his ideas and I might have modified a little bit, but I piece and parted it together at home in my shop and figured out how to make it work. And
I think they worked pretty good.
I'm not going to say I'm a pioneer on making brackets for these trucks, but
you were one of the first.
I would say I was, in the early years, I was probably one of the first guys that did it.
Yeah, so I mean, it works pretty good. So go ahead and open the door and you can see them come down there. So they're pretty quick and pretty responsive. So he did a good job on it. Now, you injured yourself with those steps this time around.
Was it with the steps? It wasn't with the steps.
The step got you, though.
Oh, yes. A part of the bracketry for the steps is what got me.
Yeah. I forget what you were drilling. You were drilling holes for the traction bars.
That's what it was, for the traction bars.
Yeah, you were drilling holes for the traction bars. The drill caught on him and basically sliced the whole top of his hand wide open. And you're going to feel that the rest of your life. But that's way later.
That was a trip to the emergency room. That was just about 2 months ago.
Yeah. So got your steps put on. That's something that's unique to the truck. You ended up finding all new old stock wheel well trim, and we got those put on. We had to source some rubber there. We did the little dinky mud flaps this time around. And then we also talked, you said the airbag setup is kind of custom to you. So it's an airlifter setup, that we kind of modified. You put your own load valve on the rear axle, so when you put your camper in the back or on the back or whatever if you wanted to tow something, it self levels. So that's kind of
Right.
cool. We put an air compressor in the bed here, and we'll show that to you. Put an air compressor in the bed with a separate tank, an auxiliary tank that has an air hookup on it. So we did that, and then you decided you wanted to have the ability to have a fifth wheel or a gooseneck in the truck in case you decided to buy a bigger camper. So that turned into a debacle because you have a frame modification, right?
Yeah.
This starts years ago.
Airbags are not designed for these trucks.
No, absolutely
They
not.
have kits for these trucks.
Yes.
But they solve the problem of sagging, but they cause a secondary problem of frame cracking because they're outboard
Of the rail.
Where the ones that you get now on the Super Duties, they make an inboard kit.
It actually goes where the bump stop is.
And to my understanding, there are guys that have developed their own setups for these trucks where they put them inboard.
Right.
But I think I'm one of those guys that I don't think a lot of people knew that it caused frame cracks when I put them on.
No, that was something that we kind of developed after you started to notice it. And I think that has something to do with the age of the truck, the fatigue of the metal over 20, 30 years. And you constantly get that torsion load on that frame that's not meant for that.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you pay attention to the frames and how they're put together,
they're not boxed.
They're not boxed, but everywhere there's a hanger, there's a cross member. So where the cross members bolt to the frame and the leaf spring hangers bolt to the frame, that takes care of that torsional load. So whenever you start carrying all of the weight in the middle of the frame arch above the axle, and then you add that bag to the outside of the frame, you start to get that rotational torque, and the rest of the frame can't move where the hangers are, so it just flexes in the middle and you get cracks. So you modified the frame in this truck to take care of that problem. You put basically this huge cross member in the middle of the frame there.
I have a buddy that knows a guy.
Knows a guy that knows a guy.
No, he knows a guy that used to build NASCAR frames.
Yes.
And I took it to him, and he built a tubular cross member that goes in between the airbags.
And you can see that in some of the videos.
It works great. The only problem is it's right where a gooseneck hitch would go.
And your airbags.
And the airbags. Well, if you were to do an inboard airbag system.
Well, we still had to fight with it for the outboard ones too.
Somewhat. But and I'm not quite sure why we had to fight with it on this frame. I don't know if it has to do with the fact that it was taken out of the old frame and put in this frame, because when it was put in the old frame, the airbags were already there.
Right, so we didn't have to install them. You just weld over everything.
Right.
So yeah, that makes a big difference too. But like you were starting to say, that hinders your ability to put like a B&W turnover in this truck, because that cross member wants the same space as the B&W turnover, but that also wants the same space as the airbag. So you can't run a turnover ball of any kind unless it was like that Cody that they don't make anymore. You can't run an under the bed hitch in this truck because of the airbags and because of the cross member. So we ended up finding something else.
But to preface all that, none of that made any difference when I had it put in, because I never had any intention of putting a gooseneck hitch in this truck.
Yeah, that was something that came late in the game.
So hindsight being 2020, I think if that cross frame wasn't there, that bracket wasn't there, if you actually bought like a B&W
turnover
hitch, if you put that in the truck, I think that would be enough frame support that you wouldn't have problems with the frame. I think that hitch itself would quite possibly
add enough rigidity.
That it would do the same thing that my frame bracket did.
Possibly.
I don't know.
Yeah. So we ended up having to do rails in this truck, right?
So we did fifth wheel rails because that gives me the ability. I can put either a fifth wheel hitch in it, or I can put a gooseneck hitch plate in it.
Right. So you have some options there, whenever you decide to get a bigger camper.
Right.
So that's nice. So that was a late day addition, which was lots of fun to do, making it work with all of the other custom additions to the truck. We ended up, you had a homemade toolbox. We had to throw that out to the wayside because it wanted the same space as the fifth wheel rails. So we ended up having a custom toolbox made, which I think looks great in there. And I'm glad we ended up doing that because we ended up deciding to do a trifold tonneau cover. So the old toolbox, I think, would have ended up being a problem for that too, with how this tonneau cover attaches. So the new toolbox ended up working out really well. So we're getting pretty late into the build stage of the truck here. So we've covered all basically the major problems we ran into with this. There was some other little hiccups here and there, but nothing really worth mentioning, I wouldn't think. Is there anything you can think of?
No, it was mostly, a lot of it was just little dumb stuff that
A, never should have happened, or B, was completely overlooked because something else came into play that was not part of the playbook in the beginning.
Right.
Like the hitch. So now we have pretty much the whole truck put together. So the whole truck's put together, and Brent comes out the one day, he goes, I cannot open my door.
I don't know if I've got arthritis in my thumb, but
you're not the only one that couldn't open your doors.
But I had to either open the driver's door with underhanded with my left hand, or I had to use two thumbs to push in the button.
Yeah, so you saw him open the door sitting here in the chair without an issue. So we ended up having to modify the door handles. Now these are aftermarket door handles because you can't buy the Ford ones anymore. And I figured out how to modify these door handles so they actually open like factory. So that was fun. And we did the front two, and I told you I wasn't doing the rear two. So then,
because they're such a pain in the butt to take out of the door.
Yeah, because the crew cab rear doors are just horrendous. So we talked about it. You took this truck home for actually a year. It was home while the painter that you had painted
was going to do some correction and fix some things. And
yes, so we had a video where the truck had purple measles, and so it came back, it looked a lot better. So that was a plus. And I looked at Brent one day and I said, Brent, we're getting to the point where the truck's almost done. Everything's on it, everything's wired properly, everything's ran. We got our traction bars put on, we got everything done. And I said, Brent, you spent X amount of dollars on this paint job. I was like, why don't we get this truck paint protection film on the whole thing? Because we talked about the tires, and we have the dinky mud flaps. So we had thought about putting big mud flaps on this truck, and we sat down with a piece of cardboard and looked at it and didn't like it. So we had a template of a mud flap and we hung it there, and I'm like, I don't know, Brent, it doesn't really fit, because for the mud flap to be out far enough to cover the tread pattern, you almost need the fender flares.
And that was the whole reason I had fender flares on it before, because of the big mud flaps. Because, well, yes, I wanted the tire protection, but also I guess the mud flaps were after the flares.
Right, but they worked together nicely.
Right. So if you were going to put the mud flaps on and have them work correctly,
you need the flares.
You needed the flares to have the body line flow properly.
Yeah. So you decided we were going to do the wheel well trim instead of the flares. So that nixed big mud flaps. So we got the small dinky mud flaps here just to help a little bit with protecting the fender and the bedside here. And what we ended up doing was we got it, the whole truck has film on it, top to bottom, front to back. I think
The only thing that doesn't have it on is the roof.
yeah, and some of the roof even has it.
It comes back above the windshield to behind the running lights.
Yeah. So we did PPF on this whole truck, front to back, top to bottom. The only thing that's not done is obviously the 3/4 of the roof. And we did a ceramic coat on this, right? So we ceramic coated the wheels, the wheel well trim, the mirrors, everything. Everything is ceramic coated. So whenever you came out and saw this truck after I got it back, because they had it for a month, and they did a really good job on it. So we vinyled everything,
and I was very leery about having the ceramic coat done.
And
I've never had bugs come off as easy. I just hope tar comes off as easy.
It will.
As the bugs. I mean,
now this is a professionally installed ceramic coat.
Yes,
this is not something you just buy online for $50 and put it on yourself.
Right.
So
I told you last night that I need to look at my deck sheet because I'm not sure whether they put the ceramic coating on the windshield or not. I'm not sure if you can.
You can.
But I said, if they did it on the windshield, you ought to just be able to hit some windshield washer fluid with your windshield wipers and the bugs ought to just wipe right off and not smear all over everything like they normally do on a windshield, which would be phenomenal.
Yeah. So, I mean, I drove this truck up to get it done, and I drove it back from getting it done. And I mean, they had some bugs on it from coming back, and it's just like, you could literally just take a microfiber and just spray it with some detailer and just go like this, and it's like it was never there. So, I mean, the PPF I think was a great idea. The ceramic coat was a great idea. Like I said, we ceramic coated the wheels and everything else, and with the ceramic coating on the wheels, he said that you may not have to polish those for 5 years, and they'll still be nice and shiny. We also PPF the traction bars underneath. And yeah, I think that's the majority of the fancy stuff, you know,
but
unique.
The ceramic coat, I'm just going to sing the praises one more time of it. I have been poo-pooing spending the money on ceramic coat for 10, 15 years, ever since the stuff came out.
Yeah.
Because I think it's just another snake oil thing.
Yeah.
That they hose you for a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I am a firm believer now.
So when you went to get out of the bed the other day, you almost fell because he had his hand on the bedside as a handle, and he had no traction. He literally just slipped off the bedside with his hand because it's literally like, it's like there's oil on the truck.
It's like butter.
Yeah. So I mean, if you look at the truck, you'd never know it has film on it. I mean, it looks great. I think that, you know, the 3 years that it's been since it came out here, and, you know, to see it in its entirety again is wonderful. I'm happy for you because this is something that was needed. You know, this is something you wanted. It took 10 years to get here. And today is going to be the day that it goes home. So a lot of hours that we spent in this thing, and a lot of time, a lot of effort. You spent a lot of money on parts and pieces, and, you know, sometimes you spent double on things because something got screwed up. You know, the stripes, you had them for a year, and we had to get another stripe kit because some of them just did not lay properly. And, you know, we got that squared away.
You found out from actually calling them that they recommend that you don't that you use the stripe kits pretty much right away when you get them.
Yes.
Because when you told them what problems you were having, they asked, you know, how long have you had them?
Right.
And when they found out it was a year, they said, yeah, we're not surprised. They need to be put on. So don't go ordering a stripe kit, and have it sit on the shelf for more than about 3 months probably before
I would say
you
no
put them
more
on.
than 2. Yeah, I would say no more than 2. So I know that we did stripes on Dad's truck, and his were sitting around for 3 or 4 months, and the guy didn't have any problems putting them on because I just had him put them on, and he didn't have any problems, but he said that they were a little tacky. So yeah, as soon as you need stripes, order them, even if you have to wait for them, and then as soon as they come, put them on. But yeah, do we need to talk about anything else? I know we did a lot of talking here.
I don't know.
Sun's coming out, wind's picking up.
Yep.
So hopefully you guys could hear everything we were saying. And yeah, we shot a bunch of videos of the truck yesterday out in the sun. So we have those videos we're going to show you. So we went ahead and went around the whole truck so you could kind of see it. And yeah, I mean, it's just, I think it's a work of art. I think it's beautiful. I hope that it stays beautiful for you for a long time. Please make sure that you stop at every stop sign and look 15 times. I would honestly...
Again, it was not my fault.
I know.
The kid ran the stop sign.
Yeah. So, I mean, just take your time. Don't want to do this again. Don't want to deal with it again. I mean, I would do it for you again if I needed to, but I know you don't want to do it again.
No.
So,
if you want to see it in person, come to Carlisle Truck Nationals.
Yeah, hopefully it should be there.
The first weekend of August this year, it will be there.
Yeah. So when we say this year, we mean 2026.
2026.
Yeah. So
yes.
If you're watching this a year later, it's not going to be that year.
It should be there the majority of the day on Friday, but it will definitely be there all day on Saturday.
Even if you're going to take it out on a trailer. Oh,
it's getting driven.
Okay, good. Yeah, I put 100 miles on this truck. I didn't have a single problem in the 100 miles, other than, you know, just stuff that didn't get replaced that should have been replaced, like the brakes. So yeah, I didn't have any problems driving it. I think if anything, the truck might need a better alignment than what I did for it, because I don't have an alignment machine. So that's something that you can probably do once you get home. And yeah, we're just going to load it up, and you're going to enjoy it now.
Yep.
You can finally enjoy it. You finally got it back for a summer.
Yep.
And yeah, so we got some videos. We're going to show you the videos of the truck. We're going to talk a little bit more maybe about some other things here. I don't know. We'll see what we get ourselves into here. But yeah, so here come the videos for the truck, and hopefully you guys enjoyed us talking about it, the kind of the history, the problems, the heartache, the headaches, and the little stuff that you run into. So we have a whole video series of this truck for you guys to check out.
After doing this, I never understood why I did learn at one time that it takes the average person that's going to do a restoration 10 years.
Yeah, it's 10 years. It's always 10 years.
I never understood why it takes people so long to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Now I understand, because problems,
setbacks,
but you're also living your life.
Yeah, you got to go to work every day. You know, it's like, this was something that we did together. A lot of stuff I did myself, but once we started getting into the end of it here with fine tuning and everything else, you know, you were here a lot, and you know, it was almost every other weekend here for every winter.
Right.
You'd come out and we would get some stuff done. You'd bring stuff out, take stuff home. You got lots of stuff to take home now.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, you wanted to have a hand in it, so
right.
You had your hands in it.
Yep.
You had your
and
blood,
my blood,
and your blood,
and
yeah,
my
all
blood
over
on it.
So yeah, let's get into these videos, and you can check out the truck. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the series. Hopefully you guys see this truck out and about somewhere. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you on the next one.
I've been chasing peace down dead end roads, trying to outrun things I should have known. Had some nights I stayed too proud to call. Yeah, I learned the hard way how to fall. I tried holding on when it was gone. Tried being strong when I was wrong. Every crack in me still tells the truth about the man I had to become to move. I don't need a rewind, I don't need an excuse. Every mile behind me was a step toward you. I'm better than I was, even when it broke me down. Yeah, I learned who to trust, learned how to stand my ground. I still got scars, still got flaws, still feel it when I look, but I'm standing here now, better than I was, better than I was. I've been burned by words I believe, lost myself trying to be what they needed me to be. Had to learn that pain don't define the heart you protect or the strength you find. I stopped looking back just to see who I was and who I used to be. Every lesson left a mark somehow, but it all makes sense right now. I've made my peace with the past by walking it through. Learned every scar had a reason, even the truth. I'm better than I was, even when it broke me down. Yeah, I learned who to trust, learned how to stand my ground. I still got scars, still got flaws, still feel it when I look, but I'm standing here now, better than I was, better than I was. I ain't saying I don't fall apart, I just know I don't stay there long. Every wrong turn played its part in showing me where I belong. I'm better than I was, even when it broke me down. Yeah, I learned who to trust, learned how to stand my ground. I still got scars, still got flaws, still feel it when I look, but I'm standing here now, better than I was, better than I was. Yeah, I'm still learning who I am, but I know who I'm not, and I wouldn't change a thing about the road I walk. I'm better than I was.